How can you argue that racism is not a driving factor in income inequality?
Because it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. And when you have a culture that doesn't, and when, you know what? Explain to me. You explain to me why black kids aren't graduating high school. Explain that one to me. Explain to me why black kids are shooting each other in rates significantly higher than whites are shooting each other. Explain to me why 13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder. Explain to me why the number of black kids in prison, not for innocent reasons, not for walking down the street and getting pulled into a prison, is so high. Explain, if it has nothing to do with culture, explain to me why the single motherhood rate in the black community jumped from 20% to 70% in the same course of time that the civil rights movement has made such tremendous strides. Is America more racist now than it was in 1960? And if it is, please explain to me how that happened.
Hey, what's up, NoFace? Can you explain to us? That was a clip from Ben Shapiro.
What's good?
Hey.
Yeah, that was yeah. There's explanations for all those. There's explanations for all those.
Yeah,
For
so
sure.
we're gonna talk about it today. We wanted to have this discussion about racism, and NoFace shared some clips with me. I have never seen that particular clip, and he's going hard, and it looked like he kind of got them black people on hush. I hope we got part 2 of that, where they telling them about it. So
From what I remember, no, they really didn't. They just kind of laughed them off, and they didn't. No, they didn't have answers, and then the answers are very sophisticated answers too. So they use those they use those narratives though to justify the disproportion in economic economic mobility and economic prosperity in this country. But I would also point out that that is racist. Isn't that racist?
what he's saying, yeah, he basically saying that black people are more dangerous, that black people are more violent, commit more crimes, be based on the fact that they are arrested more, and come into counter with police more. Based on those things, black people are more violent. Um,
Yeah,
so
and then basically saying that black people are where they're at because of their ineptitude or their inadequacies, as opposed to any external influence.
okay. So what's the external influence? School us.
Well, we know. Oh, well, it's a. Well, I can address one at a time. Which yeah, give me one of the points that he made.
Let's talk about the violence. He said black people are why is 13% of the population committing I don't know what percent of the crime. Let's talk
Yeah, he
about
said
that.
50% of the murders.
50% of the 13% of the population is committing 50% of the murder. So is that even a fact? Like
No, it's
before
not a
right
fact.
now is throwing out statistics, like
Right?
they're just making it up as they go along. Number one, but
They do. They do just make it up.
yeah.
It's based off of incomplete. It's based off of manipulated statistics. So when in America, only 50% of murders are solved. You know, so how can you? Only 50% of them are solved. So to say that 50% of the murders are committed by black people is impossible. You know,
Right.
so it's based off of numbers. They'll throw these numbers out. Nobody will really look into the numbers, and then the way that the numbers are made available, you have to do a pretty sophisticated math equation to come to any type of estimated conclusion. But it's these type of little tactics that they use to like destroy the image of black people and make them seem to be savages and can't be trusted, and
Right.
making creating distance and creating um, division between black people and white people.
Mm. So, what else did he say in that damn clip? 50%. Oh, the jails. He said they're not just going to jail and getting arrested for little crimes like just crossing the street, jaywalking and stuff like that. They committing. He talking about black people and looked like he was at a black school or black. It sounded
Yeah,
like there was a majority of black people in the audience.
yeah, there definitely was like at least three black people, or two or three black people, because he usually that guy name is Ben Shapiro. He usually doesn't. He only talks. He's a Jewish dude. He only
That's
talks
what
to
I said. You said,
Republicans.
yeah, he's a Jew. He's
You
a
know,
Jew. He-
he was
that's
recently on Stephen A. Smith's show, so a lot of people should know who he is. You know.
I don't think I've seen that episode, but that's why I fuck with Kanye because he going after the Jews,
Yeah.
non-apologetically. Okay, so
Right.
uh,
He sure is.
yeah, because the Jews are they're the ones putting out these what do you call them? Basically stereotypes against black people, and they want to cancel somebody when you say anything about Jews. They can't cancel Kanye.
Right. Yeah. If you were to say that about, if somebody was to say that something like that about Jews, then that
Anti-Semitic.
would be a big, big problem.
They want to
Yeah.
call you anti-Semitic. What happened?
Yeah.
What they did to Nick Cannon when
Yeah. I've seen that.
he said what he said? He
Yeah.
took all of his shows and he had to sit down with a rabbi. He had to apologize. He had to apologize again. He had to apologize
Yeah.
again after saying he
I'm
would,
sure he had to pay.
and then he had to pay the Jewish museum like 90% of his salary from walling out. They got Nick Cannon. Yeah,
Like, who the fuck got that kind of power, man? That's crazy.
the fucking Jews. If you let them,
Yeah, the Jews, but yeah. No, they got that kind of
he
power,
had
but
to
he just like,
apologize for that because Nick is used to making $100 million a year, and he said he can't make no less than that. So they was threatening to take that away. So he did what he had to do. What you think about that?
I mean, it just shows how powerful the Jews are.
Mm.
Supposed to be a marginalized, oppressed community, but look at them. That's crazy. They did the
Mark,
same thing with Kyrie for a tweet. He didn't even say nothing.
what was the tweet about?
It was a tweet that was said like, "This is a good book," and it was a book that was on Amazon.
What was it, a book about Jews or something?
Yeah, it was like talking about from Hebrews to slaves or something like that, or it was a book about.
Yeah, telling us our roots, probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Telling
yeah,
us who we really are. They don't want us to know they're still in our heritage. They're
yeah,
still in
something like.
our identity. That's what Kanye is saying. They are Jewish. We're the Jews. That's some real
Some,
shit. They don't want us to know that. And
yeah,
I don't know it like that. I don't be reading the books, but I pay attention to little shit here and there. So I know that we are the original people. We are God's chosen ones. I believe that shit. Nothing else.
yeah, yeah.
No, just to
Yeah,
me.
with the whole thing, with the Hebrew Israelites thing, that's kind of like a movement. Well, they've been doing that for many many decades, and as long as I can remember. But it's not something that I fuck with as much. But I get what they're saying, where they're coming from with it.
Mm.
I just tend to like not fuck with the Bible as much, or take it literally and take it as words directly from God. So that's where I get hung up on that a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing because like it starts out saying how there was light and God said that the light was good, something along those lines. Like who was around to hear what God said? So
Yeah.
we don't know. And
There
then
was darkness and he said, "Let there be light." And then there was light.
yeah, and then they say and God said the light was good. Nobody knows what God said. And nobody knows what God thinks. Because a lot of times they think for God, God did this because of this. When they say God works in mysterious ways. So which is it? Either you know why he did it and you understand his reasoning, or he works in mysterious ways. And we don't know what's going on or why.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my little
But back to back
That
to
is
the
my
back,
tangent. Let me share another video. You ready for the next one or you got more on that one?
no, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
All right, we're gonna share hold on, the other video you sent me.
Outside of heart disease and all that, what is the #1 killer of black people in America?
I know about like diabetes, but
Fellow black people. A black person is far more likely to be killed by another black person than anything else. Black people are a greater threat to their own people than any other community. So it's not like white supremacists coming into these communities and they're mowing down. It's black on black gang violence. Outside of heart.
Ooh, no, he didn't. NoFace.
Yeah.
NoFace. Eat him up. What the fuck was he talking about? Why are you worried about what's going on in our community? You
Well,
don't
he's
know.
basically, he's looking at stats, that they're, I guess.
And making
I
them
think there's
up.
something more sinister with him though. Yo, what up, Unique?
That was Charlie Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah, that little weasel, man.
What you mean more sinister? What the fuck?
I think a guy like him and Shapiro, I think they know what they're doing, But
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not sure.
putting out they're trying to make black people look dangerous. So
Right.
people be scared of they're making us look like animals. You know, kind of how you do women, wildebeest, wild animals, so
Listen, that's not okay. That's not what I'm
lock 'em
doing. Okay.
away, don't reason
I
with
don't.
them. You know what I
I don't
mean?
make it. I don't make you look like nothing, bro. When you
I'm
start
saying what you say. I'm
when you
not saying
start
what
charging with your eyes closed, okay, that's not on me. All right.
start doing what?
When you start charging, when you put your head down and charge with your eyes closed, that's not
That's
me.
what
Okay,
Charlie said.
that's just wildebeest activity.
That's what you see niggas doing. So it's
Anyways, that's not. We're talking about whiteys today. Okay.
okay. Let's get on it then. I was ready to dig in your ass, but I'm just taking it out
I
on you.
mean, but that's never happened. I mean, remember? Okay. Anyways, what did he say? He's just they basically this is like a narrative that's being pushed a lot too.
That's the word I was looking for, a narrative. Yes.
Yeah. And then the numbers, I don't know where he's getting these numbers from, but
Put 'em up. Pull 'em up. Oh shit.
oh shit.
Let's welcome Unique. Unique got something to say. She said, let me on here. What up,
hello?
Unique? Yeah. You see the video we just played? Can you hear?
Am I here?
Yes, you are on. A unique
Oh, I
perspective.
can't hear anything.
Oh shit. Well, come back. Come back. Unique
Hello?
will be back. Unique will be back. Let me type. How do we
Look
start
at go.
here?
Oh, you're gonna be in trouble. You're getting your ass beat.
Unique
Can
is
you hear us,
funny.
Unique?
Hold on. Call back in.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, this is a tactic that's been used forever. It's propaganda, trying to, but really, mostly, it's to scare to keep white people in the dark about what's really going on, and
Oh,
saying,
I can hear now.
So what's really going on in No Face? Because it's
I
keeping
mean,
me in the dark too. I only know bits and pieces.
well, they use propaganda, which is distorted. Or people know what propaganda means.
Yeah,
They
I
use
know what
propaganda to. Yeah, I know you know, but I started to define it. I'm like, damn, I don't got it in me to define it right now. Like, I don't got the
That's
words.
because you listen to the talking points too. That's why you don't know what it is. You're just
Oh
saying
my
it.
God, here we go already. Jesus Christ, man, we just she been on for
And
three
don't be using
seconds.
my Lord's name in vain. Because I hear y'all on here running up.
Oh,
Oh shit.
so you came on here to scold us both? That's what this
Yeah,
is?
yeah. She's in
I
a she's in a
appreciate
rare
it. I
she's in a rare
appreciate it.
form. Oh
Right,
shit.
right. How is the Lord's name being used in vain again? We
What is
cannot
this?
even
Jesus,
say the
Jesus
word.
Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ.
How is that in vain? That's calling
You are
God.
you really call it on him, or you using it like a cuss word? Like, oh damn.
No, it's not an all damn. It's not an
Oh,
all damn.
okay.
It might be a punctuation, but not an all damn. It's not a curse
I
word.
wasn't calling on him. You know, that's just like
I don't remember doing that either, but I
Cause how
maybe.
come y'all don't say all Buddha or all Muhammad or all
And that's
Krishna?
maybe
It's always oh Jesus Christ.
you don't complain when white people do it. So who taught
Yes,
you
I do.
doing it?
That's not true.
Oh, really? So you go on their show and you be checking them about saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
Anybody that uses the Lord's name when you're not talking to the Lord and you're just using his name as like a filler word, like
I
oh
never
damn
heard
or
that.
oh Jesus Christ. Like if you hit your step, you stub your toe, oh Jesus Christ.
I ain't never
I
heard
check
that.
you. I feel some type of way about it. Regardless to who says it.
who taught you to feel a certain way about it?
Hmm.
What do you mean? Who taught me to feel some type of way? That's my feeling. Those are my
I
personal
didn't.
feelings.
Yeah, that's it.
Who
Must be
taught you? Who
that
taught you not to feel some type
was
of way about it?
Nobody.
Exactly.
I've heard that before, of course. You never heard this before, Nico? Like they'll say, "Don't say my."
I've heard not to use the Lord's name in vain, but I never heard that just saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ," or just using it in a statement was using the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah, it's really more of like it's obviously it's not me even referring to anything biblical at all. I'm just saying like it's a part of like it's a part of the cult the dialect. You know, like people say Jesus Christ when they're talking about something that's blasphemous, but not by the biblical term, but you know, something that's wild, like oh Jesus Christ, you know, it's like a figure of speech. We're not talking about
Oh, it's a bit.
Jesus,
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
but you
I
know
still
that
think that
too.
that's. I
It
still
was
think that
always
that's in. Well, I still think that that's in vain.
well, maybe it is. I never thought of it that
Te- tec-
way.
Technically, it is, but like, nobody's even thinking about that.
Well,
Yeah. So, can we get back to the show now?
Right? Jeez,
Do
sorry.
you
don't
have
say
any
jeez. I'm trying not to say this lady's Lord's name in vain anymore. Fuck.
unique perspective? Do you have any thoughts on the clip that I showed?
Oh yeah,
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I listen to Charlie. I be seeing his clips and stuff like that. I don't have anything against Charlie. He's a white conservative Republican guy.
Yes, he is.
He's the guy who started that turning point, and he also was like in cahoots with Candace Owens with the whole like Brexit thing.
Yeah. And then he
Um,
tried to get rid of, well, not him, but Ben Shapiro tried to get rid of Candace from the Daily Wire. Now she has her own show that's doing great.
yeah,
Better
yeah.
than her.
It's a great time to be alive because everybody is really expressing their true thoughts and their true feelings. And there's a lot of lines being drawn in the sand.
Mhm.
So it's wonderful. You
Mhm.
so you don't
know,
take exception
at
to
the
anything
at
he
the
says.
at the
That was
at
just
the least, right? You know how people truly feel, and that's what you should want to know. Huh?
Well, those people maybe, but they're also pushing an agenda and a narrative that is harmful to our culture. So we know how
In
they
what way?
think, but then they also,
In what way?
in what way they're making black people look dangerous. They're saying that black people are just dangerous to not based on any systemic issues, not based on
white
any
supremacy or any government agenda.
our our environmental issues, anything like that. He's basically painting a picture that black people are just dangerous and
Just by nature, just inferior by nature, without saying it.
But you're basing that on what?
but the clip I just played, you didn't see it?
When he said, because black people kill more black people.
Yes, go to jail more, get arrested more, um, um,
Is that is
Abandon
that
their family.
false?
commit more murder.
Is it false?
I don't know. I never heard that. He just made it up.
Well, I just
So
think,
I
but
don't
I
know. Is
just
it
think a lot of
true?
times, because what if you heard a black person saying that?
I want to know where they got that from. Were they listening to Charlie Kirk? I mean, these are all
But
these
we
that.
know, right, in our community,
Hmm.
regardless of how we feel about the white folks, we know we kill each other quite a bit.
Okay.
And
Go
to
ahead.
me, because see, my whole thing is I don't feel no special type of way about white people. I don't feel no special type of way about nobody. I don't feel no special type of way about Mexicans. I don't feel no type of special way about Asians. I don't care actually where you're from. I don't have no special type of way. I don't think there's no uh supreme race. I think everybody's trifling. So when people be saying stuff, I don't really, look at their race. I actually try to listen to what they're saying.
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
didn't take any
So
exception with what he said. That's my question.
what do you mean, like an except? What do you mean an exception? An exception?
She said
Like
what he says is the truth. Now she black,
basically,
so she's saying you go accept it from her.
no, I'm definitely not.
Okay, what is
Like,
it?
like, I don't. Have you guys been paying attention? Like, what the fuck?
Let's hear it then, okay?
I'm not accepting
You
no
think you think you
fallacies.
think more white you think more white people kill black people than black people kill black people?
No, no, definitely not. But
So
but but what's the point of saying that? Because black people live around black people. White people live around white people. You think more black
exactly.
people kill white people than white people kill black people? It's the same numbers.
Well, but that's the point that he was making. He's saying that that's not even like a thing because just as many black people kill black people, white people kill white people.
But yeah,
It's
but he
like,
never said anything about white people killing white people, and that's kind of my point. You always want to highlight things that make black people look bad. If you're talking
well,
about
I may have missed the part. Like I didn't completely watch the whole clip, so I probably missed a piece of what
Well,
he
let's get
said.
part two of the clip. Let's share part two because I already deleted part one. I don't know where it's at. So let me get the second clip.
Charlie got like a lisp or something too, like something wrong with him. Like he got like a little
I
speech
didn't know that.
impediment.
Now I'm gonna be looking at the shit, but I didn't know that. All right, boom.
When a black person is murdered by police or at the hands of police, the gun, bullet that came
Yeah.
from a police
Which
officer's
happens
registered
on average,
gun.
how many times a year would you say? A black person killed by police. Washington Post's own database, left wing, 10 black individuals a year. So here's my contention. So you have a population that dads are not around, that is very, very murderous per population capita, that is very violent, more likely to be involved in gangs. And we, as conservatives look at that and we say, wait a second, like the problem is within the community. The problem is not the government. The problem is not the culture. The problem is not the history. Instead, really what needs to happen is black leadership, black pastors, and black dads need to go into the black community and say, we're better than this.
When a black person is murdered by police or at the hands of police, the gun, bullet that came from a
Hold on. Let me take off the spotlight, y'all. Go ahead and give your thoughts.
Talking about me? Cool. What? I cannot
oh, I'm
hear you.
sorry. Go ahead, Unique. My bad. I was on mute.
I mean, I don't have no extra special thoughts about it. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, it's I like for instance when that one when because now, right, we actually get to see them doing it, right, as opposed to before, because there's a lot of recordings there, right. And I remember watching that video when that man, that white big ass buff ass police officer, white dude, went in there and killed that little black woman standing in her kitchen with that pot of water, totally out of line.
Yeah, I didn't see
You know,
that.
you didn't see that?
No, was that recent?
That was like some
Unique.
months back.
Repeat that.
What?
Repeat that. What you just said.
The cop he killed because and the lady, right? Because even after it happened, I watched a couple more videos because she had like a history of mental illness, and she had called the police before, so they were actually familiar with who this woman was. And
Oh,
when
the
she
black
called this
lady with
one,
the boiling pot of water.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah, I knew that they had been out there
yeah,
the day before, and I think another time before as well.
yeah. NoFace was saying he didn't see that.
Is that recent?
No, that came out right after she got killed.
I don't know. When did this happen, though? I'm saying.
You mean the boiling pot of water? You didn't see the black lady get shot by the police? She was taking the boiling pot of water off of the stove, and
No, I
people.
didn't see it.
It was
When?
maybe a year ago now,
Oh, okay.
maybe.
So pretty recent.
Yeah, so kind of
No,
recent.
but like back to what he was saying though. He's saying the first thing he says that
So
only 10 black people get killed by police a year, which is crazy work. We know like a nigga just got killed in my city like the last weekend
by
by
the
the police.
police,
Yeah.
it ain't
So I know
national.
that.
Is it national news?
No, it's not always national news either. Like they act like it is. But 10 to say 10 is crazy.
Well, I think
I
the
think
police
I
are brutal. I think everybody should come together against the police. Keep it real, because they
I
ain't just
don't like the police. I mean, I don't have no special affection for the police. But the thing about it is that we all know that in the hood and in a lot of circumstances and situations, you have a lot of black on black crime. And that is the point, you know,
of
that
the
is a
police.
valid point,
No,
whether
I
he
don't think it's a valid point because whenever there's poverty, concentrated poverty, there's going to be a high level of violence and there's going to be a high level of murder. So I don't think that is a
well,
valid point.
but that's no excuse. That's no excuse to kill your brother because you in poverty or you struggling. It's not just big. So you're trying to say it's more valid, right? If a white police officer kill you, but if you in the hood, you struggling, you poor, right? Whatever the reason is, oh, it's okay.
I never said
That
it was
doesn't.
okay. I didn't make any type of suggestion that it was okay. I'm just saying that it's not abnormal at all, and it has nothing to do with the
That's the
with the.
problem. It's supposed to be abnormal. That's the whole. That's the point that he's making.
No, I'm saying
It's
that
not. It's not supposed to be normal for black people to kill black people. That should not
well,
be normal.
it is normal for people that are in survival mode
You
in
do
certain
not
communities
have
have an
that
elevated
is a
level of crime
choice.
and
No,
murder.
nobody makes you kill nobody. I don't give a damn what's wrong with you. I don't care how much you're struggling. I don't care how much you're in poverty. I don't care if you're a crackhead. I don't care what it is. If you kill another black person, you're out of line. Period.
Yeah, and that's why it's illegal. But it's not.
Exactly.
But it's not. But the point is that it's not
Because
crazy
if you
behavior.
if you're struggling in the hood, for instance, why you gonna kill somebody who ain't got nothing? Why don't you go kill somebody who got? Because if you feel like all the white people got something, won't you go out there and kill them?
Oh,
It's not necessarily. It's not. That's not why you don't know why these people are. Why these things are happening. It's not necessarily about trying to steal from somebody. It's just that the point. My point is that has nothing to do with being black. It has nothing to do with pigment or melanin or anything like that. That's what I'm saying. Because he's insinuating that the reason why black people are that he's insinuating that it's because black people are innately dangerous and violent.
No, that's not. No, that's not. That's something that you're placing in there. That's not what he said.
So
He's saying
what
that
it's
more.
saying?
He's stating a fact. He's saying there are more black. It don't have nothing to do with your feeling. He's saying there are more black people that kill black people rather than white police officers killing black people. That's the point he's making. It don't have nothing to do with feelings or nothing else. He's not
Yeah,
saying that.
that if that's not what he was saying, but even if he is saying that,
uh,
that doesn't prove anything. That
you
doesn't
guys,
prove.
we got a caller on the phone. We got Eugene on the phone. He's calling in. He threw out a question: is that a true fact that black people kill more black people than anything else? Is that your question, Eugene? You yes, it is. Is that a true fact? I don't know if it's a true fact. Ignore the fact. Actually, it is. Okay. This call and your telephone number will be monitored. So it's a fact.
What's happening right now?
I think I hung up. Okay, you guys.
My point is is that this type of these talking points and these narratives create negative imagery, disproportionate imagery from the truth about the dangerousness and
No,
the savagery of black people.
no, no, it does not. That's your talking point. That's a lot of the problem is because you are taking what he said and you're the one making it a talking point because he did not say black people are more savage, black people are innately more violent. That is not what he said. That's what you're reading into what he said. That is not what he said.
Okay, so
That's how you're taking it.
so what is he really saying then, Unique?
He said what he said. He said more black people kill more black people. That's what he's saying. That's what he said. That's it. It ain't nothing else. It ain't even nothing else to it. It ain't even that deep.
So he's really not saying anything because more white people kill white people too. But
Exactly.
that's what he's not saying though.
Well, but that's not. But that wasn't because he was responding to a question from another black woman with a whole pure afro, a nappy-headed black woman.
Dang, that's crazy. Mm. Jesus
Unique.
Christ.
What that got to do with anything?
Right.
Hold on.
It don't. What I'm saying is, I'm a nappy-headed black woman too.
I know, but what's your point? Why you throw her out there like that?
My point is
I gotta
that
bring that conversation.
he was responding, right? He wasn't just talking into the air. He wasn't. That was not his initial mode of conversation. He was
Okay.
responding to her question. She wanted to talk about black people and how black people are being killed by the police. That was her question. That was what she wanted to talk about. That was the
So
topic.
why you okay? So why you get at her about her nappy head though? You just went
No,
deep.
I'm just saying that she was. What I'm saying is, it wasn't even another white person. It was actually a full black woman,
Oh, that he was speaking.
full black young lady
Yeah, we knew that.
wanting to talk to him about police killing black people.
And then he said
That's,
that
that,
there's only 10 black people die from getting killed by the police a year. You believe that? Is that true too?
I doubt that.
No, it's not true.
well,
My whole point is that he's throwing out numbers that's making and these facts or these numbers that he's throwing out aren't true. They're not based
but
in facts.
the point is, right? Even if it's 20, even if it's 30, right? Even if it's 40, the major point is that more black people in the year, right, kill each other more than anybody else kills them.
So what point
More
is
than
that?
any
What
other
point does
race
that
kills
prove?
black people. It's not supposed to prove anything. It's just a stated fact.
Yeah, what it proves to me is that he's diverting away from the question and then trying to place blame onto the community or the culture of black people when that wasn't the question.
No.
If what you're saying is true, that was really the question in the conversation.
What was her question, No Face? What was her question?
I don't think she asked a question. She was just talking about the prevalence and the reality of racism still that exists in America today. And she was
Did she
naming
not
points.
bring this? But did she not make mention? Right? Because her example that she wanted to use was about the police. Was that not her? Was that her that said that?
That
And
was
she
her.
was saying how that was the police that be killing about the
Yeah, she was
police
listing
killing black
she was
people.
listing off things. So so how are you have such a strong stance in defense of this person when you don't when you're not really sure what
I
he
don't.
what was
First of
being
all,
said?
I don't have a strong and see this is a lot of the problem, right? I
Tell me
don't
what's the
have a
problem.
strong defense toward Charlie. I don't damn know Charlie. I was listening to what he said, right? And there was a truth to what he said. Don't have nothing to do with me liking him. See, that's the whole problem a
But
lot of
he
times
said that
too.
black people are murderous. So you believe that that's true?
He said black people are violent. A lot of times, yeah, our society, right? Black people are violent, Mexican people are violent, white people are violent. We are some violent ass people.
Yeah, he
Black
was just,
people are violent.
but
You know this. We all
he
know
was,
this.
but he was pointing out a discrepancy in black people being violent. He didn't say white people are violent and Mexican people are violent.
I know he didn't say that, but that was not what the topic was. He was responding right to her question, what she wanted to talk about, her premise, right? She wanted to talk about black people being killed by the police. That's what the topic was.
No, it wasn't. It
So
was
why are
just
we gonna
about, it was about black people
why are we
being
gonna go
oppressed.
off? For instance, if somebody else, right? Because she's not the only one that's there. He's on a college campus, and so a bunch of kids that's up there asking
Right.
questions, right? They're
Which is
gonna ask
weird.
questions about.
What you say? No face.
Which is weird. Why is a grown man debating college kids that don't know shit about shit?
Well, that's exactly why he's up there.
Point. You're
Right.
right.
Well, he's
That's
there to
the point.
educate. Is that what you're saying?
They're being indoctrinated.
He's showing them that they're uneducated. Most of them are dumb. Yeah,
Said most of
they're
them are dumb.
stupid.
Ignorant,
Because
miseducated. Yeah.
the number one, this show you where the degradation in our society is. Because a lot of them up there, the young kids up at the damn college, they love talking about abortion.
I
You want to
know.
know why? You want to know why?
I know why. But
Yeah,
go
we
ahead.
all know why. We all know why. I know Cole kept, she kept herself more than probably most. But when you 20 years old, you busting it down,
Oh,
right?
yeah. In today's world, yeah.
You can't keep your legs closed. You
Yeah.
twerking it, flipping it, rubbing it, you doing it all, right? Now
Yeah.
you're knocked up. Now you're knocked up by a dude, right? Who don't want the baby. He don't even really like you like that. It's an inconvenience for your life, what you trying to do, right? And I don't want this because they call them parasites, right? I don't want this parasite in me.
That's crazy.
You know, well, that's just
You're
reality,
muted,
right?
Nicole. Yeah, we can't hear you.
I said, who is the parasite? The baby?
Yeah.
That's what they be saying. They say the baby's not even a baby, right? It's a parasite.
I've heard the baby's not
It's a
a baby.
clump of
I didn't know that
cells.
was a parasite.
Oh, they say all kind of stuff. They say it's a parasite. It's just a foreign tumor thing growing in you, and
I've heard somebody describe it like that too.
This
yeah,
is an embryo and it's not a human yet, and yada yada yada.
Well, embryo is true. That's the scientific term,
Scientific term, yeah.
but it is a human. you know. Um, but I know that to be able to do what they do, like have an abortion and all that, you have to consider it as like not a real thing. So I can see
yeah,
where
Yeah. But see, this is the thing too. This is a good example of how they use these political talking points to like merge everything into one another. So we're
things
talking about
things merge. Affect other things.
well, just because I'm saying they people have crazy takes on certain things like gayness or no, gay rights or whatever, abortion rights, and then racism. So that's all. If if you're supposed to like have the same, if you're on one side, you're supposed to, or the other side, you're supposed to have the same uniform thoughts of all three of them.
No, that's what they want you to think.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
one of those
But I
being
want to talk. I'm talking about racism particularly.
yeah, but I mean
So when it comes to racism, this is a prop. This is what the people like him are being disingenuous and having an agenda to oppress and to limit the perception of what is really happening and what continues to happen to black communities, as far as destroying their, as far as oppressing them, keeping them down. And
How
that's
is
what I
Charlie Kirk? How is Charlie Kirk keeping black people down?
because
We live. This is 2025. Nobody
he's
can
not doing this. He's not
really.
doing it by himself. But these narratives and these type of ideals and ways of thinking only are dismiss the true what's truly happening, and makes people come to the conclusion, convinces people to come to the conclusion that black people are irresponsible for their state of being.
That's false. That's false. That is your that is your interpretation. Because I would even say that you're probably more racist than Charlie is.
Nope.
I don't think you can be more racist than me or Charlie.
Huh?
If you're racist, you're racist. So I don't think you can be more racist.
Are you racist?
Yes, I'm racist.
Okay. So hush.
But I'm not saying people shouldn't be racist. I'm talking
I'm
about
not racist.
yeah, you yes you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
Well, if you believe that black people that
See, and this
it's
is
not
a lot, this is a lot of the reason why we're fighting in our country. Because the number one thing is to stand on what you actually believe, right? It's another thing to actually try to tell somebody, right, what they are. You can't tell me I'm racist. I'm telling you I am not racist. I do not think that there is any race of people, black, white, Asian, whatever you are. I don't think there's any superior race on this earth. Everybody has good aspects to themselves and everybody has aspects to themselves. I don't
but
think
if you
there's no superior race.
okay, so then why do black people kill each other at a higher rate then?
You tell me.
No, I'm asking what your opinion is. Because I said that I
Well,
think that you're racist.
I'm racist as far as what? Like, what is my racism?
She
No,
racist
could
for
you ask
black or against
could you
black?
I'm
answer
racist against I'm racist against black people.
can you answer my question first, please?
What?
Why do you think that black people are more murderous than others?
Well, um, black people have been through a lot, right? We've been, we've been talking about us, right? We've been through slavery. We've been on the bottom, right? For a very, very long time. And we've made strides, right? And we've tried to come up and we have a lot of good things, we're coming out of it. We're doing better, but we still struggle, right? We still struggle with that. We still struggle with thinking that white people are better than us. Black people as a race, talking about black people, believe in their heart and soul that white people are superior to them.
Yeah, it's so do white people. And these narratives that that were being displayed on the video only reinforce that. That's what I'm saying. Especially when you just make a blanket statement and don't touch on why that is. Why are there more why these statistics, even though they're misrepresented statistics, but why would there be any type of discrepancy at all if everybody was equal and then skin was just a color tone, you know?
Well, um,
You
that's what I'm
understand what I'm
saying.
saying?
It's the psychology, right? That's the whole point that I'm making. Black people, right? That's what I'm saying. Talking about in our narrative, right? Our experience, right? Because we come from slavery, we inherently, we think that white people are better than us. We think that they're our masters. And so instead of us getting at them like we really, really want to, because we scared of black people. So instead of killing the white people,
I like that, Nick. I like that.
yeah, we're gonna kill each other because you're scared to kill the white man because you know you're gonna hang your ass from a tree. So you're gonna go kill Tyrone at his house while you're in the living room over some dope, or he was dating your girlfriend, or y'all in a different gang, or whatever y'all arguing about, you know, because
Yeah,
you mad
yeah.
at the white man in your soul.
Mm, man, that was heat right there. She said you gonna kill Tyrone in the living room. Tyrone trying to watch the TV get killed.
I
That
watch
was,
it all the time on First 48.
yeah, it's
Be
really
a
good.
whole puddle of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Go in there, go in there and kill him, his wife, and his kids.
Oh, and the dog. Yes, yes,
But
yes.
my point is, well, the point that I'm trying to make, even though I know you're not going to agree with it because you got because for whatever reason, okay, not going to speculate on why. But these are inflated numbers. What he's saying is not true at all. And then the part that is true, as far as there is a disproportion of black people being committing crimes and being arrested for those crimes, doesn't have anything to do with their culture being wrong with their culture. It is the culture, but it's not their culture.
What's wrong with what? I'm just asking you. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with white people because I already know there's something wrong with white people because I know there's something wrong with everybody. So what do you think is the major thing that's wrong with white people?
I don't think there's nothing wrong with white people, just like I don't think there's nothing wrong with black people. But when people's minds are being hijacked to believe certain narratives such as these, it creates an illusion that there are these big differences, and that it always paints black people as the inferior, savage, uncivilized race, and white people as the opposite of that. And then therefore it justifies the economic disparities within the two races, as
Well, there is
opposed
a.
to
I'm sorry.
as opposed to telling the truth about it, and then all of a sudden something would need to be done about that.
Well, I don't think that he was saying that there's nothing wrong with white people, right? Because obviously, um, there is. I mean, I'm not a white person, but I know like my personal experience from white people, right? A lot of times, right? It goes back to slavery, right? There's an innate thing, right? An inherent thing where white people, they actually think, even the ones who you see out there protesting for black people, they think that they're better than white people too.
Black
But
people too.
because they have that conviction in their conscience, right? That they know my grandpapa owned slaves. So I feel bad. So now I'm gonna go out here and say, we shouldn't treat black people like this. But really inside, they think they're better than you.
Yeah, anybody that believes that white people enslaved black people, that would insinuate some type of superiority, right?
Well, I guess, it was a long time ago, right? It was hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Um, uh,
Yeah. So how did that happen? How
but,
were
but,
they able
but,
to colonize the world?
well, that's a good question. That's a very good question.
Right. So if you really believed that everything was equal, or at least equal, then you would have to figure out why that is. Then where does that discrepancy come
Why
in?
do you think, right? If black people, right? If you just believe everybody's equal,
I don't believe
why
everything, but
would why?
I,
Well, I mean, it gets even deeper, right? Because if you believe that, us black people, right, we don't realize who we are, right, and we
right.
still haven't, right? Come out from slavery, right? Even back then, why were they able to come and enslave us, and why are we still enslaved mentally by white people? Why do we still think that everybody else is so much better when you're not black? It's just your life is just so much better.
Why do we think that? That was my question to you, though.
Well, I don't exact. I'm just
Have
assuming,
you ever
right,
been
that it comes.
curious? Have you ever been curious and try to figure out, find the reasons why? If you truly believe that there was no disparity in abilities.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm absolutely curious, right? From then until now, I'm absolutely curious. I have
So,
no idea why black people. I don't know, right? It could be right, white. I'm just where it is, right? We're black, right? We have nappy hair, we have darker skin, we have bigger noses. Um, white people are come out from the structure, right, or whatever the beauty standard is, right?
Yeah.
They don't have no naps in their hair. They have a smaller nose. They're like less not threatening, right? Maybe
I knows
people feel very threatened by black people because of our presence, right? How we look, our structure, how we're built. They feel like they need to put us in line or whatever.
so the answer is
I
no. You
don't
never
know.
really tried to figure out why this is, right?
Do you know
Because
NoFace? Was that a hypothetical?
well, I definitely don't. I never subscribed to that line of thinking that there was a disparity in the on white people's favor. So I did and still do pursue trying to figure out why we found ourselves where how could this ever have been? How could we have ever come to this? How were white people ever to accomplish the things that they supposedly did as it pertains to oppressing and really colonizing the whole world if they're
Okay.
not superior?
Mm.
Well, they may be superior in a certain sense.
Well, then you may be racist in a certain sense.
Well, I don't think. Well, you see, this is what I'm saying. You just asked me to think about it, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm racist.
Well, if that's what you came to,
How
then
am I?
yes.
How does that make me racist when we know for a fact in reality that you just said it out of your own mouth? White people were able to enslave, right, a lot of people. So it must be something. It has to be something, right?
Yes.
Well, what does history say it was?
Mhm.
They said they had guns, we had spears. They
Yeah,
had boats, we didn't.
they had organization. They were well organized and better trained soldiers and all that kind of stuff.
They
And they
had a
had
devious
Well,
plan.
white
better
people love money
technology.
a lot more than we do.
Huh?
White people love money more than we do.
Right. They had a devious plan and we didn't. We're supposed to be the docile.
Because you
Um,
can even be like, for instance, having a certain characteristics of superiority, right, doesn't necessarily mean that that's a good characteristic, right? Because you can have a superiority in being more savage, more treacherous.
yeah,
That's not a good thing.
exactly.
Yeah, I
There's
agree. But then
Yeah.
you still have to be able to you still would have to be able to execute. You
Well, they
execute.
know.
did that.
But
Yeah, for sure. They did that.
Yeah, they
right.
did that.
But I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with that.
So what do you agree with? What do you think happened? You think our history is a lie?
Yes, of course I think the history is a lie.
Okay. So what do you think happened?
Well, I think that well, geez, we're kind of getting our head of ourselves now. Run the last clip, please.
Not run the last clip. Run it back. Run it
Yeah.
back.
Right.
Those messages are that black men are dangerous because if you look at the news, there have been studies on this. Local news overrepresents black folks as perpetrators, overrepresents white folks as victims. So the message that gets sent is they're dangerous and specifically to you. They are not only bad people, they're going to hurt you. So therefore, we want to keep them on that side of town. We want to keep their children in those schools over there. We don't want to work around them. We don't want to live around them, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that message comes through loud and clear in the way that media represents people of color. You know, whenever we, thinking about Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old child that was shot in Cleveland by police, when that happened, what did they do? The first news story in Cleveland that made a big splash was about Tamir Rice's parents and the history of domestic abuse and criminality among his parents, not about the cop that killed him. We talk worse about black victims than we do white killers.
That was good.
That's a yeah, and how come the narrative is never, or even with unique, talk about how many black people are killed by black people, but we want to malign it as the black people that who are killing black people, because then we'll be looking at black people as more in the victim in as victims of their conditions, as opposed to being the ones as perpetrators of their conditions, when one can't exist without the other, but we only exclusively focus on the part that paints us in the bad light.
You saying we do that?
Yes, you were just doing that too, because you never talked about the black victim.
I never talked about what?
You never talk about the black victims when it comes to
Well,
these type of crimes.
see, now you get to see why black people were enslaved.
Why?
Because you want to be the victim.
You see that? Like, this really just shows why I say that our women are like frontline soldiers for white supremacy. You know, they're double agents.
NoFace, you literally just said I was not saying that black people were victims, right? Because you're actually the white supremacist, not me. 'Cause you're saying that black people are victims. I'm saying that they're not.
I didn't say if you listen with a objective ear, I said, why do we only talk about this side and never acknowledge the other side?
What other side?
Why do we only acknowledge the part that makes us look like murderers, instead of looking like, and never acknowledge the side that shows the victim that we're victims of murder as well?
Yeah, NoFace, why do we do that?
Because of what he was just saying.
Because you think white people are better than you.
No, did you hear what he said? He said that black victimhood is, I can't remember exactly what. Do you remember what he said, Nico, about black victimhood being worse than what you know? Play the end of that clip if you can.
That's a white person's narrative, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Cole.
We're gonna play the clip again.
Just the end of it.
Oh, just the end.
You talking to my baby?
When that happened, what did they do? The first news story in Cleveland that made a big splash was about Tamir Rice's parents and the history of domestic abuse and criminality among his parents, not about the cop that killed him. We talk worse about black victims than we do white killers. Those messages are.
Yeah, we talk worse about black victims than we do white killers.
The white people.
I think
No, you do.
No, how? That's so crazy. How am I doing that, NoFace? How?
Because we never acknowledge we don't acknowledge the black victims,
I thought
and we
that
don't
black
acknowledge
people
the
were
white killers.
are black people victims or not? Are they black? Are they victims or no?
Yes, black people are victims of a lot of things.
Okay, all right. And so, right, white people hear you saying that, right? The white man's on the line. He hear you saying that.
Yeah.
Because what you're supposed to say, right? If you don't believe in white supremacy, you're supposed to say, no, black people, we are not victims. We are more than victors, right? We're more than conquerors. We warriors. We come from the bottom and we going all the way to the top. But you
So
don't say that.
lie. So it was a lie.
not going to the top, no face.
Oh fuck no, not with that type of mentality. That's what I'm saying. This is what contributes to keeping us down. We can't don't acknowledge that you're a victim. If you
Oh,
don't think that you're a
right
victim, then
now,
you'll be okay with your state of being.
I want my reparations. That's for damn sure.
No, we ain't ever getting no reparations.
Don't tell me
You
what
think?
I'm. You're not getting yours. That's for sure.
I'm telling you, you're not getting no reparations.
Oh, you don't know.
I do know. Because if you can't give that defeats the whole purpose of white supremacy if we get reparations.
No, it won't. We don't know how to spend our money right. We gonna just give it right back to the white man. He can give it to us today. Go have.
Well. We don't even own our own all of even like with right. We're getting our weave, right? We get our hair. We get the because the Asians got that on lock, right?
Yeah.
They own all the beauty supplies.
Yep. And
Right.
the
I
Indians
think black women spend more on hair and beauty supplies than
and
anybody.
nails. And anybody can do nails.
Well,
Look at all the nail shops.
Yeah,
well,
why is this? Is it not? Is it? It has to be because of some type of.
because it's because Boom Quisha, right? She don't want Pam and Keisha doing her nails. She wants Sandy and Mal Wong doing them. That's
Why?
why.
Why?
Right, but
Is
why
that,
though?
is that I don't know why. Because I don't even
Well,
go get my nails done. I don't want man, I stopped getting my nails done years ago.
well, it must be because black people are just really suck at. Well, they just don't trust each other, and they're not to be trusted, and they can't never, right? It has. It can't. It's not because of anybody else, because we're not victims
We
of
be doing
anything.
bad business. We be doing bad business sometimes. Lower expectations. We do some lazy shit sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and that has nothing to do with this is,
Nothing to do with our race. Nothing to do with our race.
and nothing to do with any type of systemic oppression either.
Right. We do it for no reason at all. That's even worse.
That's not okay. Were you being facetious or what?
No, I don't know. I just that just fit.
Because I am, I'm being sarcastic.
Fit right there. Worked out.
But if you do believe that, then that's racist by definition.
What part?
The
What
the
part?
belief that there's difference in characteristics and abilities of one race over another, typically implying that the one is superior to the other.
Yeah, I don't believe I said that. I believe
Okay,
you
so
said that. I may be racist. I believe some things, I believe some things that I'll keep to myself. I may be racist in
I
favor of
ain't keeping nothing to myself. I'm not racist, and I don't think that
that's
there's no race. I don't think Mal Wong, and I don't think Alejandra or Maria.
or any
I
better
don't
than
think
you.
I don't think nobody's. I don't think nobody's better than us, and I don't think we less than nobody.
Yeah.
so why do we have?
Hey,
Even with all of our struggles,
hey.
right? Even with all of our pain and all of it,
Mhm.
that don't mean that you better than me because
Mhm.
you have a different because you have a different struggle.
I agree with
Yeah,
that. I
but
agree with that.
so how do you justify the state of being? Then that's my whole thing.
Well, do you, so are you can you justify it, no face?
Yes, I
She
just
already said she can't.
I justify it by believing that there was exterior forces that contributed to the victory of oppression and colonization for white people. It wasn't them. It wasn't the white people themselves. It wasn't the ancestors of the white people that live amongst us themselves.
Who was it? Who was it? No face. The aliens.
I don't want to get into that. I don't know who. I don't. I just know it wasn't white people.
Well, there ain't nobody other people here but us.
Are
Unless that's what I'm
there?
saying. There is nobody else here. There's only human beings, right? Every race, color, and creed. There's nobody talking about on the earth. Talking about people here on the earth. Because you're saying it was somebody else outside of Earth.
I didn't
Who
say
was it?
you said that.
You said it was an exterior force.
Right. That doesn't mean they had to be outside of the earth. That doesn't
You
mean they
mean
had to be
exterior?
aliens.
What's the exterior? Exterior from what?
Exterior from white people.
Who
So it
else?
wasn't the white. It wasn't the white
Who
people.
else is there outside of white people? Who else is there?
Other. Why are you trying to get? Why are you trying to take me there? I'm not trying to go there.
Why don't you want to go there is the better question.
Because if you can't get on, if you can't come to grasp with the fact that that white people aren't superior, whether it be subconscious or consciously admitted,
You
that
said white
that
people are superior? You said white people are superior. They are superior.
shit, selective hearing, bro.
I'm asking you what you said. That's what you just said.
That if you can't come to grasp with the fact outside of the fact, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, i.e., whether you
No
say it,
faith. Do
but
you believe? Do you believe white people are superior? Yes or no?
you already know the answer to that question.
No,
It's
I don't.
redundant.
That's what I'm asking you.
No, I don't. I do not.
Okay, so what's the exterior force?
I don't know. I just know it was not white people. White people are not dominant like that. They're not smart like that. They don't innovate. They don't create. So when you're giving them credit for advancing technology, and that was through the weapons and through the military, the weapons basically. That doesn't resonate with my common sense because I know that white people don't create and they don't innovate.
So if you're saying and you're thinking, right, out of all the races, right, 9, 10, 10, 9,
It's
8, 7,
three,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? White people are there. And then you're saying there's an exterior force
right? And it's
outside of
not.
them
Yes,
that gave them the power.
they gave them illusion of power. Yes,
But they didn't give it to nobody else.
No.
that's correct because because you keep insisting that I talk about this.
Why not? You're saying the aliens, right? Who the alien
I
force
never said aliens.
has. I don't know what you want to call it. You haven't named it, so I'm just giving it a generic name. You're saying whatever the entity is, the exterior entity, had a favoritism toward white people.
Shit, it might have been Jesus, bro.
You're saying Jesus now, because I mean, you might as well be honest. You're saying Jesus favors white people.
No, I didn't say that. I said it
Okay.
might have been Jesus. I was making a joke, okay?
Well, I'm trying
But
to
it's
get
a
to what you're saying, but if you don't want to disclose, that's fine.
should I go there, Nico?
You might as well. You're gonna have to go there. We're gonna have to wrap it up.
All
Yeah.
right. I believe that this is what I know. I know that humans were created as a resource, of labor to mine gold. And I don't know if it was intentional or coincidence, but they ended up being the gold that's mined. And black people have biological gold that they grow within inside themselves.
Melanin. Right?
You see what I'm saying? Like I can't really have these conversations because you guys don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Is it
You
not
still think,
melanin?
yeah, melanin is the biological gold.
Well, then you can have this conversation. What do you mean?
Yeah, I know, but fuck, man, nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. I was just
Well,
so
we want to
okay.
know if
So
you.
so it's not
We want
about.
to know if you even know what you're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about,
We'll talk about it.
but I don't want to go. I don't want to go on a fucking soliloquy.
Oh,
You know what
see,
I mean?
he was using big words.
No, I don't know what you
I was
mean.
using big words in the show. Now you coming with soliloquy.
Oh yeah, man. I watch a lot of sports.
Mm,
That's the reason why I know that one.
I, I,
That's a fucking Stephen A. word.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I don't want to just talk and just I wasn't prepared to talk about this, and I don't want to talk about. I don't want to start talking. You guys wouldn't have any questions or any clarifying questions if I'm not staying on point with my descriptions. I was gonna say.
Because you said that
Shit.
people, right? Human beings were made to be a resource.
Right. Have you ever heard of this?
No,
Do you
Yeah.
believe in aliens, Unique?
no.
Do you believe in outer space?
Yeah, I believe in outer space, but I don't believe that there are like aliens on another planet like trying to like uh conquer us and use us as a resource. I mean, I've seen like plenty of alien movies. But you know, one of my favorite movies is War of the World. Is it War of the Worlds with
I think
Tom Cruise?
yeah, yeah. Tom Cruise.
That's one of my damn favorite movies.
Yeah, there's truth
Um,
to those movies. I don't
and
think you could just
but
make that shit up.
I do think about it. You know, I do think about that, right? Like the whole alien thing, like it does cross my mind every now and again. But
Let me ask
it just
you guys this. What do you guys think about like who built the pyramids? Like not right now, but what were people like before? Do you believe that there we were like superhuman or something like
well, if
advanced
because I mean, oh,
than
go ahead, no, you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Well, I got you guys know I believe the Bible, right? So I believe in fallen angels. You
okay.
know,
Okay.
so
Well,
I believe that fallen angels are the ones who came to Earth and helped people do thus and so, whatever it was.
mm.
Well,
So
yeah, that's that.
could that be an alien? What is that?
Right. Wouldn't that be
Well,
an alien?
I don't think that angels are because see, I believe that God created everything. Come on, everything. And I don't believe
Yeah,
biblically
yeah,
that God created aliens. There are angels, right? Talking about how the story goes, right?
Okay.
The Lucifer, devil, the Satan or whatever, right? He was cast out, right? They said he hit the earth, right, like lightning because he wanted to rebel against God, where he took a legion of angels with him when he fell, right? It was, I don't know if it was half or a third or however many it was, but they came to earth and they were doing like very like diabolical things or whatever those things in the different civilizations were. It was
Mm.
fallen angels that did it. I don't believe that angels are aliens.
So fallen angels, though, they look like people on Earth or something like that.
Well, angels can change themselves, to look human.
Mm.
like shape shifting. Well, yeah, they call in the Bible they refer to the Nephilim, which means the fallen ones.
Giants.
'Cause they were like giants. Yeah, I believe that they were like giant. There was a certain time where there were like giants in the
Definitely
land
giants.
Yeah,
because they were saying that the angels were having sex with the women, right? The
Yes.
fair women in the land, and
Yes.
they made they made these giants.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you guys
So
could still be talking about the same thing, just calling it something different. Honestly.
yeah.
Um.
Not really though.
No.
No, because no, because the Bible talks
Well,
refers to the
I mean, honestly, it is different. It's not. It's actually not the same.
yeah, it's not the same because the Bible refers to the Nephilim as um I don't
They were
even fucking remember.
Giants,
Yeah,
giants in the
yeah, like
land.
evil giants and shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but then the
yeah.
Bible also refers. Well, the book of Enoch referred to the Nephilim as not evil.
I've never read the Book of Enoch.
Yeah, I know.
You
But that was a
don't
part of
know.
the Bible, though.
You didn't know until I told you.
Well,
No,
there's
I know.
parts of the Bible that were taken out, and the Enoch
Yeah.
is one
The
of
Book
them.
of Enoch was one of them. Yeah,
Hmm.
and he basically said that the aliens took him to outer space and showed him where he came from, type shit.
I don't know because I never read it.
Yeah, I know. But they they merged the
But angels don't come from outer space. Angels came from heaven. I mean, and you can because see, people refer to the
I'll say in the
heavens, right?
Nephilim.
I know exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that as far as I would be concerned, they would be angels that fell from heaven. But what I was gonna say is that because people say, like, when you look into the heavens, right? Some people refer to the universe, outer space, as the heavens.
Yeah.
So, in that aspect, you can say, yeah, you know, outer space.
Right. But the
Yeah.
Nephilim weren't outside of the Bible. They're never referred to as fallen angels, as if they fell out of heaven.
You said outside of the Bible?
Correct.
Well, that's a discrepancy.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those,
Yeah.
but basically, let me shift it back. That the melanin is what's being harvested as the new gold and being extracted. So so that's why, in my opinion, black people in this system have to always stay at the bottom, have to stay in survival mode, and only the detached ones get to. You have to detach from your true self to be rewarded by this system and be able to like have an illusion of prosperity. That's why you never see like the people that are successful double back and try to play some Robin Hood type shit,
Because why?
Mhm.
because they are being rewarded from detaching, not from connecting, not for connecting. If you try to connect, then you'll be labeled as a terrorist or a radicalist or something crazy,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna kill you, imprison you, whatever the fuck they do.
Mm.
So if you're referred to as a bad guy by this system, then usually it's because you were a threat to the system. And if you were referred to as a good guy, it's usually because you're feeding the system or you're no threat to the system. But
But
usually because
I
you're
don't
feeding
think
the
that
system.
I don't think that's specific to black people though, because that
No, it's
would
not.
go to exactly. Yeah, that's
It's
not
not.
specific. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people, traditionally, right, in their roots or where they come from or their culture, right, and they want to keep in touch with that, and you're disconnected from like what you would call like the matrix, right? You're not in the world system, right? So you're not accepted, right? You're shunned, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Because everybody can be a part of the matrix, right? But everybody has a lineage, a root that they come from. Right. And they say you have to you're saying you have to disconnect yourself from that and just give your whole soul over to the system, and then you're accepted.
I didn't say the whole soul. Like, we're getting a little
That's what
dramatic.
people are
Well, I
doing.
mean,
Like
basically that's what it is. That's what it is.
are you talking about like selling your soul to be famous, something like that?
I don't even think you have to necessarily be famous. You just have to give yourself, your being, over to the system itself, right? You become a part of it, right? You're actually a part of the machine, right?
Right.
Your whole self.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think that you're a part of the machine, or not even you specifically, but the way
Well,
the
I mean, we all are. We all are, but the thing about it is that that's what I'm saying. It's the acknowledgement, right? Of where you may come from, right? Your faith, your belief, that is what may separate you in a certain sense, right? When you have another faith in something greater, something more divine, something bigger than the system.
well, I like that. I like that background.
Like that.
Yeah, well, I think everybody.
Nicole been blowing the channel up. It been looking good.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
no, I think that everybody, mostly everybody, except outside of atheists, have that characteristic. I think that a lot.
Uh,
I think I think, and a lot of. I think we talked about that too. Whereas if you don't, a lot of people, especially a lot of Christians, believe that if you don't believe in If you're not a Christian, that means you don't believe in God or a higher being. You know,
Yeah.
and
That's
that's
not
not
true.
true.
No, it's not true. That's why I always say that's why Christians are the most persecuted, because the Christian faith and belief is very exclusive, right? Because everybody believes in a God, right? Whether your God is the universe, whether it's Allah, whether it's Krishna, whether you're a Buddhist, whether you're a monk, whether you're a atheist, right? You believe, or is it evolutionist, right? You believe the world just poofed, or we came from slime, uh, or whatever it is. Um, Christians have a very exclusive faith and belief. We don't believe that there's many different ways. We believe that there's only one way.
Yeah, most
That's
religions
that.
believe in one way. That's their way.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, most people, most religions too believe in one God. Most of modern day religions believe in one God. So there's nothing. Christians aren't persecuted disproportionately, and they're not unique in the sense that they believe in something that's completely different from everybody else.
Well, that no, it's true, because Christians believe that um Jesus is God, that he came in human flesh to this earth.
Not
Like
all Christians believe that.
when people say God, right? When people, like, even when you hear um the award shows and people say, I just want to thank God, because some people's God is the devil, right? Some people's God is the universe. When people say God, they can mean very
God,
many things. Some people can say, I could believe in God. They could be talking about a damn statue in the corner of their house.
I guess.
Well, it's true.
I guess
But yeah,
this is why.
but I think that that's good. I mean, to believe that there's something greater than yourself, right? But because the atheists don't believe that there's damn nothing. Like, they don't believe
Right.
in God at all. That there's no sky daddy, right? I've been hearing that a lot, right? Yo, we don't need a sky daddy,
Hmm.
you know.
I don't believe in Sky Daddy either, though. That's crazy work.
Well,
But we're supposed to talk about racism. But with Christianity too, that's you know,
I
I
mean,
don't know
it's
how we
okay.
got. I don't know how we got to Christianity. How did
It
we get?
doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. And like the whole racism thing, it's like you even said, racism, right, is a thing. Because, right, you'll hear people say, right, we're all one race, really, right? It's the human race, right? But the system itself has
Divides us.
made racism a thing to keep us, like, divided, right, and fighting with each other. That's something that
Right.
the system itself created.
That's true. That is very true. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a fact. I mean, it has to be a fact. How can it not be a fact?
Yeah.
Based off all
Yeah.
the evidence and all the all the history of it. But what I was touching on, and then I don't want to. What I was touching on is the how black people are the target of oppression, and the whole system is designed to keep black people marginalized and to keep black people controllable because they have the resource that's being extracted from this planet.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Really?
I would agree with that. Well, just because, right, where everybody's supposed to come, like, Africa's supposed to be like the motherland, right?
Oh my God, NoFace is really.
Huh? You
That's
know what?
surprising.
He got through to you, Unique, and he you should
No,
have
I
known
think
No, I
that. You
mean,
weren't expecting that.
no, I've always said that, right? I totally understand that, right? It's something special about black people, right? It definitely is. But the thing that I've been saying is that whatever that special thing is, right, that we have that nobody else has, I don't necessarily, I mean, I could be wrong, right? But I don't necessarily think that that makes us superior, I don't believe that there's a superior race. But yes, I definitely know and believe and know. I'm black. I know it's something special about me.
And it's melanin.
I heard that.
Yes.
So we did all of that talking for the last hour and a half to get to the same conclusion that there's something special about black people.
Well, it
We
is.
top
No,
dog.
that. No, those are very true facts.
Well, okay. So
And
we agree.
then it wouldn't be far fetched to conclude that rhetoric like what those two gentlemen on the clips were spewing
Mhm.
is part of
The plan
of
to
the
keep us
psyop,
down, to not
right?
realize how special we are.
To trivialize the oppression that we go through and to blame it on us, to completely reverse the perception versus the reality
He
that,
reverse engineered racism. Boom.
well,
Right in front of our.
you reverse the truth
He
and
reversed.
insinuate that black people are inferior when indeed the avatar of a black body is superior to the avatar of a white body or Asian body
Period. Or any other body.
or any other body that we know of,
Yeah, which is not true.
which is true because
What's true?
Now we back
What's
to the
true?
same old. We have melanin skin, the largest, largest, whatever you call it, in the human body, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and it's not just the skin; it's really the neuromelanin in our brains that
Okay,
decide that separate us.
boom, there it is. Not just
And
the,
a
but it's
black body is worth $60 million.
Yeah. Yeah, they be honest. I mean, no, that's nothing but true. I'm gonna tell you something, and I've said that since the beginning. So you're not gonna make me feel no type of way because I already said, right. I don't have no special way I feel about white people, right. I already know that black people. You already know that we're highly special, right. Everybody be honest. They want to steal our culture. They want to steal how we act. Everything that we do, right. They
And they
try
want to
to
use it for their
implement it
benefit.
or steal it or take it
they
away
don't
from us.
try, they do stuff.
But my whole
They
point
profit off
was
of it while we
what you
broke.
say, Carl?
They profit off of it while we stay
Well,
broke.
Yes.
that's the point that I was making is that understanding, right? Because sometimes you have to put your feelings aside when you hear white people saying certain things, right? You have to kind of read in between the lines of what he's saying, right? When he's saying black people are killing each other way more than they should be, right? So that's something that we need to work on. That's my only thing. That's my only issue. That is something that we need to work on, right? We have a lot of work to do. But are we special? Absolutely. We I mean everybody tries to act like us. Everybody.
Yeah,
That's true. We're the trendsetters of the earth.
yeah, yeah.
For sure.
I think we should have
For
started with
sure.
that. Y'all
Right. Well,
basically talked me out, but I'm glad we came to a common conclusion.
What we're beautiful.
Yes, I'm happy. So I think we are going to wrap it up for the night, and I will see you guys on Thursday.
yeah.
Bye guys.
Thank you guys for joining. Have a good night.
Love you.
Peace out.